millions of Americans talking right now. The Social Security Administration has quietly started sending out what they're calling correction payments, surprise deposits of $875 showing up in the accounts of SSI and SSDI recipients across the country. If you receive Social Security, listen carefully, because this isn't your regular monthly check. Thousands of people have woken up to see an unexpected $875 direct deposit from the US Treasury with the note SSA Core Pay. And right now, confusion is spreading fast. People are asking, is this real? Is it a glitch? Am I supposed to keep it? Some say they got a letter explaining it. Others got the money with no notice at all. One viewer from Ohio said, "I thought it was a scam. Then my neighbor got it too." Now here's where things get interesting. According to multiple reports, this isn't a random payout or stimulus check. It's part of an official Social Security correction initiative, fixing underpayments that may have affected millions of seniors, disabled Americans, and low-income recipients earlier this year. But before you get too excited, there's a catch. Not everyone will qualify, and the SSA hasn't publicly announced the exact criteria yet. Some recipients could see their deposits this week, while others might need to wait into November. So what exactly is this $875 payment correcting? Who qualifies? And what should you do if you haven't received yours yet? Stay with me, because in the next few minutes, we're breaking down what's really going on and what you need to do right now to make sure you don't miss out on money that could be yours. If you or someone you know receives SSI, SSDI, or retirement benefits, this is one update you can't afford to scroll past, because what happens next could directly affect your next deposit, your benefit amount, and maybe even your eligibility for upcoming adjustments. This is the Social Security update everyone's been waiting for, and what I'm about to tell you might just surprise you. Now, let's get into what's really behind these unexpected deposits, because while it may feel random, this $875 correction payment didn't just appear out of nowhere. It's tied to something that's been quietly brewing inside the Social Security Administration for months, an internal audit that uncovered widespread underpayments affecting SSI and SSDI recipients nationwide. Here's what happened. Back in late 2023 and early 2024, the SSA began reviewing its cost of living adjustments, or COLA, after several advocacy groups, including the National Council on Aging, raised red flags. They noticed that thousands of beneficiaries were getting slightly less than what the 3.2% COLA increase should have added to their monthly checks. The issue came down to rounding and regional calculation errors in the Social Security Administration's payment system. It sounds small, a few dollars here and there, but when you multiply that by millions of recipients and months of missed adjustments, it adds up to billions in total. By mid-2025, the SSA's Office of Inspector General launched a correction review. Their findings confirmed what many suspected: an internal coding glitch and misapplied regional inflation factors caused benefit shortfalls that hit Social Security income and Supplemental Security income recipients hardest. So, in September 2025, the agency approved what they called the SSI and SSDI Underpayment Correction Initiative. The goal? To restore the missing funds to every affected beneficiary. That's what's now being distributed in the form of these one-time $875 correction payments. Let's make one thing clear. This isn't a stimulus check, and it's not a new monthly benefit. It's a make-up payment, money that should have been paid earlier this year, but wasn't due to those technical and data processing errors. Now, here's what's interesting. The $875 figure isn't random either. According to SSA sources, it represents the average amount owed to those affected by the underpayment, though actual totals vary. Some people are getting slightly less, around $640, while others are seeing $1,100 or even $1,250, depending on how long the error affected their benefits. These correction payments started rolling out on October 28, 2025, through direct deposit, direct express cards, and paper checks. The rollout is expected to continue through November 15th, according to internal SSA scheduling memos. So, if you receive SSI or SSDI, especially if you notice smaller COLA increases earlier this year, there's a strong chance this correction payment is headed your way. But before you assume you're automatically in the clear, it's important to know how the SSA determines eligibility. The correction is being applied to specific accounts that were identified through the audit, meaning not everyone will see this deposit, at least not right away. And this part matters. If you moved, changed banks, or switched from paper checks to direct deposit in the past 6 months, your payment could be delayed while SSA verifies your updated information. Now, many of you are asking, why didn't the SSA just announce this publicly? That's a fair question. Based on what we're seeing, this rollout was designed to be quiet but efficient, avoiding a flood of calls and confusion before payments actually hit accounts. But the moment those deposits started landing, the news spread like wildfire. Across online forums and Facebook groups, recipients from states like Florida, Texas, Ohio, and California are already confirming they've received their $875 correction payment. Some even shared screenshots of their bank statements showing the transaction labeled SSA Trees 310 KOR Pay. Still, others are waiting, watching their accounts daily, wondering when theirs will come through. And here's the truth. You might already be on the list, but simply haven't hit your payment batch yet. Now, before we move on, let's recap the key point here. These are legitimate correction payments, not scams, not advances, and not loans. The SSA is paying back what's owed due to prior miscalculations. But what does this mean for you personally? How can you tell if you qualify? And how can you verify that a payment is truly from the SSA? Let's get into that next, because the answer could make the difference between knowing your money's on the way or missing out entirely. Now that you know why this $875 correction payment exists, let's talk about what everyone wants to know, who actually qualifies, and how much you could get. Here's the truth. Not everyone receiving Social Security will automatically get this correction. The SSA used a very specific formula based on how your COLA adjustments and regional cost factors were calculated in 2023 and 2024. So, to qualify, your record has to meet 3 key conditions. First, you must have been receiving SSI or SSDI benefits between December 2023 and June 2024. That's the period the audit flagged for underpayments. Second, your benefit calculation must have been affected by the cost of living adjustment rounding error or a regional index misclassification, something that happened when SSA's systems used outdated inflation tables for certain ZIP codes. Third, your account must be verified as active, meaning no pending overpayment reviews, fraud flags, or repayment holds. If you meet those 3, the correction payment will be automatically deposited into your existing SSA-linked account. No need to reapply or call to claim. But here's where it gets interesting. The average correction amount is $875, but that's just the baseline. Some recipients have reported receiving $640, while others have confirmed deposits of $1,250 or even higher. Why the difference? It depends on how long your payment was undercalculated. For example, if you were underpaid about $125 per month for 7 months, your correction total would come out to $875. But if your underpayment stretched to 10 months, your correction could exceed $1,200. It's all based on your personal payment record, and that's why you should check your account carefully. Now let's talk about how you can verify if you're eligible or if your correction is on the way. The easiest way is to log in to SSA.gov and go to your My Social Security account. Once you're signed in, click on Payments and look for a recent transaction labelled SSA CORRPAY or TREAS 310 CORR. If you see that line, congratulations. Your correction payment has already been processed or is scheduled for deposit within the next 3 to 5 business days. If you don't see it yet, don't panic. The SSA is rolling out payments in batches by region, starting with the Southeast and Midwest, followed by the West Coast and Northeast in early November. Now, a word of caution. Anytime there's money involved, scammers come out fast. Be careful. The SSA will never call, text, or email you asking for your social security number, bank info, or payment confirmation. If someone claims they can expedite your $875 payment for a fee, it's a scam. Hang up immediately and report it to the SSA fraud hotline at 1-800-2690-271. And here's another tip. If you receive your benefits through a Direct Express card, check your recent transaction history. The correction payment will show up with the description SSA Correct Pay or USTREAS 310 CORR. You don't need to do anything to trigger it. It happens automatically once the SSA verifies your record. Let's make this real with an example. Maria in Arizona, who's been on SSDI since 2018, said she noticed her monthly check was short by around $10 to $15 since January. When the correction payment arrived this week, a one-time deposit of $880, it made perfect sense. The missing COLA increase had finally been corrected. Same thing for Robert, a retired veteran in Florida. His correction came in at $1,180, and he told us it was like getting back a piece of what he'd already earned but never received. That's why this matters so much. This isn't free money. It's money that belongs to you, the result of a system glitch that's finally being fixed. But what if you think you were underpaid and haven't received anything yet? Don't lose hope. You can contact your local SSA office or call the national helpline at 1-800-772-1213 to verify if your case is part of the correction review. Be prepared with your social security number, date of birth, and recent payment history. They'll check your record for you. Now, some viewers have been asking if this correction payment affects future benefits. The answer is no. This is a one-time correction. It does not reduce or increase your monthly benefit going forward. It simply restores what was missing from the past. However, it could impact your SSI resource limits for the month you receive it. If you're on SSI and you suddenly have an extra $875 in your account, the SSA recommends spending it on essential expenses like rent, bills, food, or medical costs within the same month. That way, it won't count against your resource limits in the following month. Now let's pause for a second and think about the bigger picture. For many Americans, living on fixed incomes, $875 isn't just a correction, it's a lifeline. It could mean catching up on utility bills, fixing a car, buying medication, or simply breathing easier this month. That's why this story is so powerful and why it's spreading like wildfire. Because after years of bureaucratic errors, people are finally seeing the system correct itself, even if just a little. But what happens next? How can you make sure you don't miss your payment or accidentally lose it if your information isn't updated? That's what we're covering next. And trust me, these next few steps could make or break whether you actually receive your correction payment on time. All right, let's bring this all together, because if you've watched this far, you need to know exactly what to do next to make sure you get what's rightfully yours. Here's your step-by-step action checklist to confirm your $875 correction payment. Step 1. Log into your My Social Security account at ssa.gov. If you don't have one yet, set it up right away. It takes less than 10 minutes. Once you're in, click on Payments and look at your recent transactions. If you see a line labelled SSA CORRPAY or USTREAS 310CORR, your payment has already been processed or is on the way. Step 2. If you don't see anything yet, check your Direct Express or bank account directly. These payments are rolling out in regional waves between October 28th and November 15th, 2025. The deposit could hit at any time during that window. Step 3. If your payment still hasn't arrived by November 20th, call the Social Security helpline at 1-800-77-21213. When the automated system answers, say "Payment not received" to get routed faster. Have your Social Security number and bank info ready. Step 4. Make sure your mailing address and banking details are up to date. If you've moved, changed banks, or switched from paper checks to direct deposit recently, there's a good chance your correction payment could be delayed until SSA verifies your account. Step 5. Watch out for scams. The SSA will never ask you to pay a fee to release or confirm your correction payment. If you get a text, call, or email claiming to be from the SSA asking for your personal information, it's fake. Delete it and report it. Now, here's a pro tip. If you're on SSI, that $875 may temporarily push your balance above the $2,000 resource limit. The SSA recommends spending it on essentials this month: rent, groceries, medical costs, so it doesn't affect next month's eligibility. And if you're on Social Security disability insurance or retirement benefits, don't worry. This payment doesn't count as income, it won't change your taxes, and it doesn't reduce your future benefit checks. Now, let's talk about what happens next. SSA insiders say that after this correction wave, a second review is already being planned for early 2026 to double-check other benefit categories, including survivor and spouse benefits. So if you didn't receive this $875 correction, you might still see an adjustment down the line. And here's something most people don't know. These corrections often trigger follow-up letters that explain exactly how your amount was calculated. Those letters are expected to start arriving by mid-November, so don't be alarmed if you receive one after your payment shows up. That's just official documentation. The bottom line is this. This is real money. It's not a handout. It's not a stimulus check. It's your money being corrected and restored after a long overdue fix inside the system. Now imagine what that $875 could mean for you right now. Maybe it's a few months of medication covered. Maybe it's catching up on bills, or maybe it's just peace of mind, knowing that the system, for once, caught its own mistake and made it right. But don't just wait and hope. Be proactive, check your account, confirm your info, and mark your calendar. Here's your quick reminder timeline. October 28th, November 15th. Correction payments rolling out. By November 20th, call if you haven't received yours. Mid-November, official letters and documentation begin arriving. And one more thing, share this information. You'd be surprised how many people in your community, maybe even your own family, haven't heard a single word about this. A quick message or share could help someone claim the money they're owed. Before we close, remember this. Staying informed is your best financial defense. The system may move slow, but the people who pay attention, the ones who check their deposits, read updates, and ask questions, they're the ones who don't get left behind. So keep watching, keep learning, and don't ever let confusion stop you from getting what's yours. If you found this update helpful, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an important Social Security or benefit alert. Because in times like these, knowledge really is power, and every dollar counts. Stay informed, stay hopeful, and take control of your benefits. This is your money. You earned it, you deserve it, and now, finally, it's coming back to you.